Don't be shy, just ask. Hi guys, please be informed before getting a parrot. I am going to tell you today all the things that most people don't want to tell you at a pet store, so you'll buy the animal, but I'm going to tell you all these things so you can be well informed before getting the parrot, because I don't want you to go home and be disappointed or angry or whatever and then just return the animal or give it to a bird rescue or whatever. Okay, so yes, while most birds will work out fine for most of the people that purchase a bird or adopt an animal, many also will not work out or be a challenge or need some work or need some training. So, but that's okay. As you know, this is Olivia. She's my almost two-year-old African gray, Timneh African gray. I also have a Moroccan cockatoo that is now 6 years old. He was adopted 2 years ago and had major problems, but we turned him around. And I have just recently, now it's probably been about 6 months, have adopted Zero, who's a scarlet macaw, and he is now 19 years old. And I make sure that she don't poop on me, which is one of the things that you might want to know about parrots. They poop on you all the time. And this one is a pooping machine. All right, so here are some really super important things for you to know before you decide to get a parrot, especially a bigger one and especially the cockatoos. Cockatoos are the most returned or rehomed animals, or surrendered actually to just rescues or sanctuaries. So it is a very sad fact. So first thing you need to know, parrots can and will bite. It's just what it is. So don't take off your rose-colored glasses. This is not Disneyland. I'm sorry to sound like that, but it is true. There might be the one or two people that are lucky out there and their bird has never bit them, but that is really the exception for sure, because most birds, even her, and I've had her basically since she was teeny tiny, 50 days old. And even her, every once in a while, she just gets frustrated and there's something she doesn't want, she'll nip me. Yeah, so, and some birds, they'll bite. So, okay, so please don't be under the illusion that your parrot is never gonna bite you. If that is gonna be an issue for you and you're gonna develop fear, you might want to reconsider getting a parrot, because when you have a parrot that bites, you can't give up on them. Milo, my Moroccan cockatoo, who has one of the strongest bites in the parrot kingdom, bit me all the time when I first adopted him. Bite. Big bites too. But I just didn't give up, and animals know I didn't give up. I kept trying, and I kept reassuring him that I'm good, that I'm nice, I'm not here to hurt him. And now he's a sweetheart, as you guys know. Another thing, number 2, is that a lot of people buy a parrot with the purpose of them talking. Now, Olivia here, she's an African gray, and she's so those are the most talented parrots when it comes to talking. But even with the Timneh or with the Congo African gray, there is a possibility that your bird will not talk. She knows a lot. I mean, I'm lucky, and I'm also very, how do I say, persistent when it comes to training her. And she has a vocabulary of probably 250 or maybe even 300 words. She speaks German and English, but it's just because of me. I'm being persistent. Every day I'm talking to her. Every single day I reteach her the words that she knows, and I'm trying to always sneak in a new word, and I have conversations with her. That's how you do it. But it could have been that she would have not picked up anything. I mean, it could have been, and that would have been fine with me too. So this one is a little tired. Are you tired, Olivia? baby? Are you tired? What's going on? Okay, can you turn around maybe so people can see you? Oh, thank you. Mwah, kisses. Oh, no, don't do that. Maybe we don't want to do that. Okay. All right. So the next thing you need to know about parrots, and I don't know how much I can stress this. This is going to be, whoa, you guys. Parrots are loud. Literally, they're loud. Even if you get yourself a canary, they're gonna be loud. They can be very loud. If they just continuously singing their song, after a while you're like, but you have to know this going in. You have to know that they can be loud. Now, I have one of the loudest birds in the animal kingdom. Milo is super loud. I have an image here. Here you can see the differences between, so and where you see all the way on the top, or in the front, which is the loudest, where there's a jet engine, meaning it's damaging to your ears. That's Milo. That's him. Yes, he can, on top, like in regular, he will have 120 decibels, but with the top scream when he's like super upset or something, you can have 135 decibels. That's as loud as a jet engine, a 747 at start. Yeah, and we hear it sometimes. Right now he's quiet, so woo. But even this one, I mean, when she sits right next to your ear, woo. And then of course we know the macaws. They have that screech that's really loud. Anyway, parrots are very loud. Actually, some people are really surprised that, and I was surprised too, that the conures are actually considered to be one of the loudest birds, and those are the most purchased birds too, which is such a small animal. It's because they have this like a real piercing screech. So it's not like loud. It's more like beep, like this really piercing screech that just I can't even. What? I've lost some hearing, I think. So conures, very loud. Yes. Little tiny conures, this big, scream. They have this really loud scream. So yes, they are very loud. Parrots are loud. If that bothers you, please do not get a parrot. I am imploring you, please. Parrots are loud. And seriously, I mean, she's super cute and everything, but sometimes she can get super loud. And if that bothers you, if that's gonna be a problem, if you live in an apartment or something, that's gonna be stress, that's gonna be a problem, and it's gonna be stress for the bird too, especially if you yell at her all the time or him to be quiet, which doesn't help, but that's another video. Anyway, parrots are very loud. Another thing you have to know, that when you get a parrot and you have a family, there's a husband and a daughter and a son or something, that's my family unit, for example, and I got this bird and I wanted her to be my bird, and she's my bird and I love her and I want her to adore me. It is very much possible that she will just all of a sudden hearts, hearts, hearts for your husband and for your husband only, and she hates your guts. She hates you so much that she'll bite, 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 and only want your husband. That is very possible, you guys. So I don't know how to remedy that. Probably, like in my case, what I tried to tell everybody when we first brought her home is to leave her alone, basically, and just let me have contact with her, because I wanted her to bond with me. So that is probably the best solution, because then she basically has no choice but to bond with me. But she did. Actually, what happened with Milo is when we first brought him home, my daughter was kind of playing with him a lot, and that's probably what made it harder for me too to bond with him, because he kind of attached to her. So again, so your parrot might only have one person, and that one person might not be you. Know this going in. If that's gonna be a problem for you, again, don't get a parrot, and don't be mad at the parrot. That's just how it is. Okay, they choose their own person. Another thing that I get asked sometimes is, woohoo, are parrots very cuddly? Well, yeah. I mean, some parrots are super cuddly. Like Olivia is cuddly, but I kind of gotta make her. I gotta make her cuddle with me. So normally African Greys are not knowing. Oh, see, now she doesn't like that. She doesn't like that. So that was a nibble. And if you don't like bites, or if this is gonna be a problem for you, don't get a parrot. Again, you saw me have no reaction to it at all, so she stopped. But if you go, ow, scream, and ooh, and wave your hands, then they're gonna keep going. So no reaction, that's what you have to do. Anywho, so she can be very cuddly. Cockatoos are usually very cuddly, but they also bite. So they're like bipolar almost, like on one side they're super cuddly and then they want to bite. So yes, some birds can be very cuddly. Just expect for them not to be cuddly and then be pleasantly surprised if they are. One other thing that is also very important, since you know that these birds can reach a very old age, I mean, these birds live for a very long time, their attitude and demeanor doesn't change. These birds are gonna be toddlers basically forever. So they're gonna throw temper tantrums, they're gonna scream, they're gonna destroy things, they're gonna be noisy and all this, like a toddler, for their whole life. So, I mean, right, a baby, if you have a baby at home, that the baby will grow up, but a bird will stay the same. So you will have an adult baby all the time for the rest of, for possibly here 50, 60, 70 years, however long, you know, your bird will live. Which gets me to the next point. Parrots live for a very long time. Know this going in, please. Have a plan. Know who's going to take your bird after you're gone. Have a plan B. Have a backup. Don't let this bird be stranded because you didn't plan. Now, my daughter already knows that when there's something wrong with me, which has to be something seriously wrong with me, that I couldn't take care of these animals, then she's going to be taking them over. And she already knows this, and she wants to. So she's going to help. But you have to have that plan. You have to know. Yeah, right? Because Olivia here, in the wild, it's different. So in the wild, they don't get to be as old as in captivity, because in captivity, you give them the right nutrition. If they're sick, you go to the vet and take care of them. There's no predators that could catch them and eat them and so on. So in the wild, she would have had a lifespan of maybe, I don't know, 30 years. But in captivity, she can be like 50, 60, 70 years old or older, you know. I'm sure there's been even some that are older than that. So know this going in, yeah? So know that there's got to be a plan for when you're gone. If you're older, when you get the bird. If you're young, then that's good. Okay, so then here I have a list of different birds starting in ABC order and what their life expectancies are. These little buggers here are very destructive. Olivia right here so far has not done too much damage. Well, let's see. You can see right here what I'm trying to hide. This was Milo. Milo destroyed my headboard. So I patched that like so. And like so, and like it never even happened. If that bothers you, do not get a parrot. Material things cannot mean more than the bird, in my eyes, my opinion. Material things, of course, I don't want my bird to destroy my stuff, not on purpose, obviously, but am I gonna be livid when something happens? No. They're a bird in the wild. They'd be sitting on a tree munching on its branches. And there won't be anybody out there going, hey, what are you doing munching on branches? They don't know. Here you give them wood in the cage to chew on, yet if they're outside of the cage, you scream at them if they're chewing on wood. You understand? They don't know. So it's really your responsibility to watch out. If something happened, it was my fault. Literally, it was my fault. And there's quite a few things that they have chewed on. So you fix it as best as you can, replace it, and just get over yourself, because that is important. Because parrots, when you have a parrot, these things that I'm showing you now, these will happen. As you can see, sometimes you get some damage, which is not the end of the world. It can be fixed. Don't do it on purpose, of course. I don't want anything like this to be done on purpose either, of course. But if it happens, it happens, and I'm not gonna get super mad. If you feel like you would get super mad over this, please do not get a parrot, especially a bigger one, the cockatoos or the macaws. But even the little ones, that beak can still do some damage. That beak can do. Another thing you need to be aware of is that when birds are stressed, and sometimes for no reason at all, sometimes you don't know even why, birds can start plucking. Plucking means that they pull out their feathers. See how she's preening right now? And sometimes they'll just be stressed and start pulling out the feather. And if that would happen maybe once or twice, okay. But sometimes, there's some naked babies out there. They pull out all their feathers because they're so stressed and so scared, or even bored or depressed, or whatever the reason may be. So there is a possibility when you get a parrot, even with me, with her being, as happy as she can be and whatever. But who knows, in 2 years, all of a sudden she starts plucking. And you don't know why. There's lots of things you can do to prevent them from plucking, or if they do pluck, to stop them from plucking. But in the end, they might do it all the time, and there might be irreversible damage, which means, for example, Zero, as you can see, he has plucked some of his feathers on his chest and his stomach area and under his wings, because he was, as far as I think, what happened is because he was boarded for almost a year and a half before I got him, which means he was in a cage for this whole time, never taken out. And that is very sad for a bird, especially a bird that maybe is used to being handled a lot, getting love and kisses and head rubs and whatnots. So he started plucking. So now on his chest, you can see all these little bald spots, and he might have damaged the follicles so much that it won't come back through. I've had him for about 6 months, and it looks like it's there to stay. So, but that's okay. That's okay. It's just know this going in. If this is a problem for you, do not get a parrot, because even if you get a super healthy looking parrot right now, in a year or two, who knows, he could develop this kind of like behavior where he starts pulling out all his feathers. Tail feathers sometimes get bitten off. Over preening or barbering can happen. So these things can happen. If you're purchasing an animal for the looks, then I don't know, maybe reconsider, because it's possible that those looks will fade. And then maybe one last thing that I can say here is that there are no two birds that are the same. As you can see here, Olivia is amazing. I've gotten really lucky with her, and I want to say it has something to do maybe with my training too, and my behavior towards her. She is very nice, very calm, talks a lot, very playful, eats everything. But again, because that's what I did from the beginning, I gave her all the food. Anyway, you guys know. I digress. But now if I were to get another Timneh African Grey, that bird might be an entirely different bird. It might not want to eat any vegetables. It might not want to talk at all. And it might not want to play at all and bite me all the time. And that could have been, even if it was from a chick, the likelihood is slim to, that would happen if I would raise him or her the same that I did with her. But it is possible. So no two birds are the same. Okay, no two birds are alike. That means if you get one bird, if you have like Again, in this case, I have Olivia and she's amazing. If I get another Timney, I might have nothing but problems with that one. Possible. Not necessarily, but possible. So just know this going in. Well, I hope I wasn't too harsh on you. I hope I wasn't being mean or disrespectful to anybody. I just want to put it out there because it really hurts my heart to know that all these birds, and I'm gonna get emotional because it's very saddening to me, especially with the cockatoos that are such loving animals, but they just have this wild side to them. They are just very emotional, and if they are not understood, they will bite, and they have a really strong bite. They will scream because they want their mom, or they want their person to come and cuddle with them, or at least be with them, or whatever it is. They want to be understood. And it's very sad that a lot of people just don't have the patience for it. And yes, I mean, I don't like it and I don't enjoy it when Milo is screaming either. But I have managed it, and I have taught him to self-soothe himself, to calm down. Try not to address him when he is screaming. You are supposed to basically ignore the screaming, and then when you hear him stop screaming for at least 10 seconds, then you address him. And he realizes, oh, when I'm quiet, I'm being talked to, not when I'm screaming. Anyway, this is another video again. So please consider all these facts before buying a bird. So these are all the things you need to know before getting a bird. Of course, there's many other things. They're very messy that bothers you. I mean, poop everywhere, seeds and food everywhere, fresh fruit flung against the wall and whatnot. So if this bothers you, they I don't want to just say negative things because that's kind of sad, because obviously they're very, very loving animals. They're very beautiful animals, and that's why you want to have one, because they're just amazing. But it's just, I want also people to realize how hard it is to have a bird. How hard, even something as small as a budgie can get challenging sometimes. Okay. Well, I hope I was able to inform you a little bit before you are thinking about getting a bird, and that it was somewhat informative. If I stepped on any toes, I apologize. I'm sorry. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you liked my video, please subscribe and like. And if you do, then we'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.